Hey everybody, Black Ninja 797 here, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys my 4th Fall Guys win in today's video. Now, this video is going to be very interesting because for the first time in a long time, I would say that I won in a very bizarre way. More than usual, because I got extremely lucky, where it's like, I want to believe that this was skill. But the thing is, this match just strangely happened to go in my favor in ways I cannot explain. You're going to see it on the gameplay here, most notably in the finale, because for the first time, I have finally won at Fall Mountain. Because in Fall Mountain, that was the only game mode that I needed left in Fall Guys to say I'd beaten every single game mode, because I've beaten all the other finales previously, and obviously I've beaten a mixture of all the other game modes, including all the team ones, including all the free-for-all ones, including all the puzzle ones, survival ones, etc, etc, etc. Now, this is a really weird game, is because this was right after I just got done playing with Joseph. We were just having fun. I was trying to get him a win because he's the only guy in the group that hasn't gotten a win. Although I don't know if he really particularly cares. I don't think he honestly does, but I thought it'd be a nice gesture. And yeah, we played for a little bit, and then I decided to play a couple games by myself, and this was literally my last game right before I was going to get off. I, for some reason, always have that circumstance where I'm like, I'm going to get off. Let me play one more. And then all of a sudden, it gets to the point where that's either my actual last game, or I play till like 4 a.m. in the morning, then that's my last game and then I win. Because if I do well, I'm more apt to get off. If I do poorly, I'm more apt to be stubborn and then just be like, oh, that didn't really count, and then I end up playing again. So yeah, we had a fair mixture, and this was actually a pretty long session. This time it was actually, I believe, all 5 game modes, or all 5 rounds, because usually sometimes I can get away with it early. One of the things I've always wanted to do, though, is I've seen clips where people actually won before the finale, because they'll do something like perfect match, or fall off, they'll do something like perfect match, or they'll do like rollout, or something like that, and basically what happens is that everybody just dies the last second out of nowhere in a giant herd or a giant group because they're all trying to screw each other, and there's just this one guy that does his own thing, and then all of a sudden he wins. It's just like, that's just beyond ridiculous in my eyes. So if I could end up getting an instance where it's like, I don't know, like 1 or 2 rounds and I get a victory, that would just be nuts. That would honestly be nuts. But yeah, so we ended up having Dizzy Heights, and we had a really weird selection of game modes. Like, then we ended up having Rollout, which Rollout is honestly not that bad, although I don't really see it too much. Rollout is probably one of the easiest game modes in the whole entire game. But we had a weird mixture. Like, certain game modes I feel like don't spawn after another one because I feel like in other words it would be too easy. Like, for example, if we had just all races, it would be ridiculously easy. If we had all team game modes, it would probably be ridiculously hard. I don't know what the exact coding is in Fall Guys, but there's just certain game modes where I don't know if it's player count or just the game randomly decides to generate. It might honestly just be 100% random, within reason, of course, because you obviously wouldn't have like a finale at the beginning, but there's just certain game modes I never see comboed, and that was probably one of the reasons why this game mode, combination made me so lucky, is because the game mode selection offered me the most versatile options in terms of my skill, because I like the game modes that were in here, minus the exception of Tail Tag, which Tail Tag will end up being the next game mode in here, free-for-all Tail Tag to be specific. But yeah, it's really funny. Out of all the game modes, I'm finally starting to get used to pretty much all of them. The ones that I like the most, obviously, are going to be the races, just because it's almost impossible to fail at the races. But survival courses I actually enjoy, because I like the idea of puzzle solving and kind of like juking out your enemies. I feel unanimously, though, we all hate team-based modes, especially Tail Tag. That one, like, you could theoretically be having a roll up the lobby, and if you get a team-based mode, depending on who's on your team, you can be completely screwed. And it's not even a fault of your own. It's just ridiculous. So it was just basically a casual, chill night. And the funny thing is, as well, is that this gameplay you're watching is actually recorded on the PlayStation's hard drive, or the built-in hard drive that's on the PlayStation, because my Elgato actually ended up corrupting this gameplay, which is the first time in a while it's actually ended up having a corruption. It's mostly because of the fact that I'm playing on my desktop, and I haven't had my laptop in a couple of months now. I think it's almost been a little over a year now. But yeah, the fact that I've had my gaming tower has made little to no corruptions. I think this is the very first time it's actually had a corruption. And one of the things I'm actually really looking forward to is with the next generation consoles being more demanding I'm actually planning on upgrading my Elgato soon, because my Elgato, even though it's been good to me, it would be nice to have one Elgato per console. I have the original Elgato still to this day in case I need to record on, last gen, like Xbox 360/PS3, and I have my HD60, of course, right now. But obviously, the new consoles will be very demanding with the new graphics and stuff like that, so I'm planning on getting a HD60S Plus. There was a variety of consoles, that have needed certain capture cards. Like, for example, to record the PS3, you still need the original Elgato capture card. Like instances like that. So I thought it'd be nice to have specific ones that are trying to force another capture card on a certain device when they might not necessarily work. I mean, I got the original Elgato to work on the Xbox One. Surprisingly, it worked on a console that didn't even come out yet, but it did have lagging issues. It corrupted quite a lot of files. It just obviously wasn't meant to. I think that it just happened to be the right amount of circumstances that went in my favor. But I just think it would be better to get to the HD60S, Plus, because it would just be the most optimal. It can render things in 4K. I've heard it has no latency issues, where everything is on both screens are all in sync. It has much better chances of not corrupting and stuff like that. And I'm overall just looking forward to the idea of playing on the new consoles. And I don't know if they'll necessarily accept everything. I googled, the possibility of what capture cards may or may not work unless they plan on making a whole new model for the next gen consoles. But at the very least, people are saying, oh yeah, if you have at least an HD60S, then it should work. But I don't have an S, I have an HD60. So I was thinking about at least getting like one or maybe two upgrades here and there. Eventually, when I do end up getting a gaming tower that's not a pre-built, I was thinking about just getting the internal Elgato, although I would keep my capture cards, the external ones, just in case I ever was traveling or went to a capture event or something. And plus, overall, they're just better for consoles, at least in my opinion. But yeah, so now we're at the number 11's players, and I honestly thought that we were going to end up having a hexagon finale or something like that. But yeah, we ended up getting tiptoe. I've seen Fall Guys give me finales with 15 people, and I've seen them wait as long as until we end up getting like 4 people. It's really ridiculous. So when we ended up getting to tiptoe here, I was like, oh god dang it. So now we end up having another game mode that really just comes down to chance, and you uberly have to focus. Like, I was leaning into my screen, my eyes were not blinking, and I was just ready to go. At this point, I might as well start getting G Fuel. It's really ridiculous. But yeah, so we're running around, and I've been being a little bit more aggressive with tiptoe. I've been actually trying to start off the pass for people, because really, if you end up diving and you dive over a tile or two, and you keep doing that just straight, usually one of them will end up being it, especially if you land on both tiles. If you land in the middle of them. And that can be really good for you, really bad, depending on which tiles you get, because a lot of people will mimic you, and you find out like halfway of the path already, just right off the rip. Although I have seen people do things like that guy, where they just instantly fall off, or I get shoved. So it really just comes down to chance. Tiptoe, I honestly have never had a problem with it like a lot of people, and I completely understand why. Tiptoe is just one of those game modes that I happen to get very lucky with, and I have a pretty decent amount of skill in my humble opinion. But I completely can understand with an inexperienced player, like, how this game mode would suck. Because it's not exactly that it comes down 100% to chance, but you do have to rely on the fact that hopefully your enemies will do the work for you, and you just capitalize on it. Kind of a lot like DoorDash. Because, like, right here, I would have originally sprinted, and I almost fell off because of it. But luckily, I just stood my ground, and I kept still. And I was just trying my best to hold on for dear life. You can see me grabbing players. I'm not even trying to intentionally shove them off. I'm just trying to get them to just not push me off. It's like an exact opposite of like trying to be offensive. But yeah, we find the tiles here, and I get third, and I was so paranoid that somebody was either gonna A, shove me, B, I was gonna trip, or 3, I was just not gonna make it. Like, I was just genuinely gonna be like a little bit lagging behind. And then finally, we ended up getting to the finale. Now, I was assuming since it was this low of a number, I thought it would end up being tail tag, even if the fact that we already had tail tag, because I've seen tail tag back to back before. But no, we ended up getting Fall Mountain, this is probably the smallest amount of people I have personally experienced ever in Fall Mountain. I have seen 2 people in Fall Mountain before. I don't know if that's predetermined, but it was really nuts. And luckily, since there was only a select few people, I was able to spawn in the front, because I believe the front row can have up to 5 people, and there were 6 of us, so there's only 1 guy in the back right. And I just took my shot, and I got so lucky. You will see how that throughout this gameplay I've been lucky where there's just stuff that shouldn't happen. Like, this is ridiculous. If you take a look at Fall Mountain, Normally, it's just balls flying everywhere, and a lot of people, it does come down to luck. But that one barely nicks me. I do trip, but I don't end up falling too hard. And then this propeller actually flung me forward, which I'm glad. I aimed for that to happen, but I wasn't expecting it. This ball almost hits me right in the face. I completely were able to avoid the hammers, and normally these trip me up, these little bounce pads going up. And luckily, I'm starting to capitalize on them. They feel a little bit delayed, and I get through the hammer, and instead of waiting like this guy, I just run for it, and I luckily barely grab the bottom of the crown. Like, if I played that any slower, or if I got any less lucky, I would have been completely, I would have completely missed it. There's absolutely no way around it. Fall Mountain is probably one of the most random, bizarre game modes, and yet it spawns in one of the most. Hexagon and Fall Mountain are polar opposites of each other, and they spawn in the most. I barely see Jump Showdown, and I barely see Tail Tag, although I don't have a problem with Tail Tag not being in here. But I really wish that Jump Showdown appeared more than Fall Mountain does, but it just is what it is. Anyways, guys, that was a really awesome gameplay. I ended up getting my 4th Fall Guys win, which means I got my 6th crown that I currently have. I've actually had 7 counting the Battle Pass, but I hope you guys ended up enjoying. If you did, please consider leaving a like, comment, subscribe, and I hope you guys enjoyed another YouTube video from the most unique YouTuber you guys will ever see. Thank you for watching, guys, and peace out.